I'm frustrated about the Farm Bill 2 weeks ago, as an example, because and just y'all know this, so I won't go into it too much, but the big majority of a Farm Bill is nutrition programs. Mm-hmm. It's been the judgment for 40 years that you needed to have nutrition programs with the Farm Bill in order to have enough votes to pass it, because there's just not enough of us who represent agricultural areas, much less any of us who are personally involved in agriculture, to pass something like that. So you got to put it together.
Is that why they do that?
Yeah.
Is that why the food stamps?
Yeah. And it's been that way, as I say, for 40, 50 years that they've been together. And if you look at the demographic trends in Texas, not to mention across the country, it is absolutely true that fewer and fewer of us represent agricultural areas. And as I say, I could count the number of people who have some personal background in agriculture, like on my fingers, and not need to use them all. Congress has changed that much over the years. But back to the point. So food stamps has more than doubled since 2007. It cannot continue to grow that much. And so we put some basic reforms in the food stamps portion that were consistent with some of the reforms we had in the Ryan budget and other things. I mean, we've been talking about this problem for years, one of which is too many people are automatically enrolled in food stamps, and they're enrolled in food stamps even if their income is higher than the food stamp qualifications. So one of the reforms, shocking as it may be, was to have only those people be able to get food stamps who qualify for food stamps. And then that saves over $1 billion a year if you do that, by not automatically enrolling people just because they qualify for some other federal benefit, which has been the case now. I get distracted. So there were some reforms like that. It cuts $20 billion off of what would otherwise be spent on food stamps over the next 10 years. There are also cuts in farm programs, by the way. Mm-hmm. But the conservative majority part is Democrats decided that they were going to vote for it, but they decided at the last minute they were going to vote against it. 65 Republicans voted against it. Democrats voted against it because they thought the food stamps was cut too much. Republicans voted against it because they thought it wasn't cut enough. So what happens? The bill didn't pass, and there are no changes to food stamps. It goes on forever. It's an entitlement. And so there is a frustration at Republicans and conservatives fighting with each other and not being able to get something done, because if it's not good enough, so I'm going to vote no. It doesn't take very many of those people to lose a majority in the House, and if the House isn't going to do it, the Senate's sure not going to do it, and so it failed. I think a major priority when we go back next week is to figure out how to pass a farm bill with 218 votes, and there is talk about should we divide nutrition from farm, and if you do that, who's going to vote? Now are you going to vote for it or you're not? I mean, does it going to matter on votes? And there's talk about, okay, maybe you go and try to get more Democratic votes, or how do you proceed to get 218 people on the same page to vote for something? And I think the Farm Bill is very important for our area. It needs to pass. Farmers need to know. The bankers need to know what the rules are going to be. But this is a really important issue for the House. Because if we can't get 218 votes for anything, then we'll do oversight, but we just won't pass anything. And that's the way it'll be for the next year and a half. So internally, this is an important issue for, especially I would say, Republicans and conservatives, to figure out if you can make progress even if you don't get everything you want, and whether you're willing to take that progress and come back and fight another day, or is it going to be this constant fighting and carping that nothing's ever good enough, in which case we'll accomplish nothing.